Hi, it's Phil Wilson from MInnov8 here at Carlson Marketing for another interview on behalf of MIMA and the MIMA Summit, which comes up on October 5th. Don't forget to log on to MIMASummit.org and get yourself registered. Today, we're going to be talking to Doug Rozen, and we're going to be talking mobile. We got a few minutes to kill while we wait for our interview, and we just noticed that this blank space right here, that was supposed to be welcoming us.
On The View, Riva star Joanna.
So are you going to the MIMA Summit? Well, we're at Carlson Marketing. We're talking to Doug Rozen. Doug, I'm going to ask you to give me your complete unedited title at Carlson Marketing.
It's Senior Vice President and Global Lead for Creative, Interactive, Media, and Mobile.
There you go. Very long title, but very descriptive.
It tells you exactly what I do.
So let's talk mobile, because that's what you're talking at the MIMA Summit coming up on October 5th. Making the most of mobile. Give me first give me a little bit of background on you and how you got really active in this mobile space.
Well, it happened a couple of years ago when I just joined Carlson Marketing. That was 3 years ago. And we were looking at ways at which to extend our business further and identifying what is the next trend in marketing akin to the internet, and no doubt mobile we believe will be that. So for the past 3 years, we've been putting a lot of time, emphasis, and investment around mobile products, services, and how do we truly mobilize everything we do for our clients. When
you talk mobile, what technologies are we talking about? You know, right now, it's all about the app. Is that the only thing that you're focusing on right now, or the predominance of it?
We break mobile down into 3 areas: planning, delivery, and measurement. Within the delivery, you've then got 3 kind of tactical decisions. Messaging, which is everything from text messaging to polls and surveys, to then browsing, which is mobile internet sites, mobile advertising, mobile search, to then downloads, which is apps, ringtones, tickets, barcodes, things like that.
What's the priority application of mobile? I mean, you talked about an iPhone app can be considered one, but it may not necessarily be the right one or the priority. What's a priority for pretty much anybody? Is there a blanket priority?
Well, there is no blanket priority. I think the way we look at it is there's 4 drivers of proper mobile usage, I'd say. And the first is recognize that mobile today really is about transactional usage. That if we think about how we all use mobile, it's right now less about entertainment and more about the utility.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is we need to understand that it's best part of a multi-channel campaign. You just can't do mobile by itself.
Okay.
And to realize that immediacy and what I call the snackability, or getting little bits of communication through mobile, is really how to make it part of that mix. Also, we believe, and because we focus on relationship building as an agency, that mobile is really about that ultimate relationship. Because if we think about a phone, it's the most personal communication device we have. Everyone's got one on them all the time. And so you need to make sure you got that value exchange. You give me this, I'll give you that. Really worked out before you begin. The last thing is the notion of getting close to people, proximity. Not so much here in the U.S., but in other parts of the world where you can use what's called location-based services, where we can tell where you are and deploy messages to you based on that.
When does mobile communication become intrusive? When does the message become spam? Have you seen any, had any experience on knowing where the line is and where not to cross it?
Well, I mean, it's very much like email marketing. You have to make sure you get the right permissions from the customer, understand, or allow them to understand what are they getting out of this. And if you don't do that, then it could be the best program in the world, the most brilliant creative in the world, but to the consumer, they're going to feel that this is spam, that this is unsolicited, I didn't ask for this. Now, they might have, So it's really important that you get the consumer's preference, you understand what they want out of it, and you tell them that early on.
Well, I can see the correlation with email as far as reaching out and touching. The difference here, though, I think that should be addressed is that this is you're always on, always wired, always connected. So a message via mobile can stand to be much more intrusive.
Correct.
Than a message that comes in via email.
Which goes back to my earlier point that mobile really is that ultimate loyalty or relationship mechanism, because you have to have that value exchange. You have to make sure that consumers know what are they going to get out of it by them participating, and that they find value in that. And if they don't, then they will view it as intrusive. A program we ran over in Asia for a very large donut chain was where we took their loyalty database and invited people for manager specials. And 3 o'clock every day, if you're walking by this donut chain, we'd send you a message to say, come on in, we'll give you a free donut with a cup of coffee. That's not intrusive because A, people signed up, B, there was value, and C, we told them what they were getting before they got it.
Give us a primer, give us the highlights, some bullet points of what the attendees of the MIMA Summit, which again is coming up on October 5th, in your session, what are some of the things that they can look for as takeaways?
What this session's really going to look at is how do you take the foundation that's there in mobile and really make it mainstream? How can marketers really use mobile to drive business value? I can't tell you how many client meetings we go into where the first thing out of a client's mouth is, I want an iPhone app. Which is great because they're interested, they're piqued. But that's not always usually the best place to start. So what we hope to do out of this, and we've got a great team, we've got a local mobile technology leader, we've got a global service provider, and we've got one of the leading measurement people in the mobile space on panel with me. And we're going to talk about how do we get from today to tomorrow to the future in mobile.
Okay, you're a mobile guy. What phone are you carrying right now?
Well, I got a couple of them.
What's on you right now? Is there one in your jacket
no,
now?
It's over because I only threw this jacket on for the interview.
Well, there you go. Thanks very much for dressing.
Thank you. My pleasure. Gotta look good. I have a Nokia N95,
right,
and I have a BlackBerry Bold. I had an iPhone, but the battery doesn't last as long as mine needs.
This is by no means an endorsement of any kind,
no.
But most mobile people have multiple phones to check the platforms.
Yeah.
What do you see for mobile in the next year and I hate to go 5, next 3 years?
Well, that's actually going to be the kind of premise of our session, looking at mobile today, tomorrow, and the future. And we're going to start by looking at each of these 3 horizons and what makes them up. The today is really, either going to be end of this year, beginning of next year. We'll move from today to tomorrow. The big difference is the experimentation stops for major brands, and they really start to place mobile as a persistent part of their marketing endeavors.
Sounds great. And for 3 years out?
3 years out, well, it's hard to see, and I think if anyone truly can tell you the honest answer, I wouldn't believe them. But I think, no doubt, mobile will be paramount in marketing. If you think about how we used to call IVRs to change passwords, now we go to websites to change passwords. Soon you'll be going to mobile. So I think what we'll see 3 years out is some of our basic tendencies with the internet being cannibalized by a mobile handset.
Interesting. Thanks very much for taking time with us. It's been a real pleasure, and we'll look for you at the MIMA Summit. Again, the summit comes up on October 5th. And be sure to log on to MIMASummit.org and get yourself registered and join us there. Thanks very much.
See you there.